Are you guys ready to play a game? A PlayStation Vita game? For Halloween? Definitely not going to do that for the rest of the video. Greetings, fellow Vita fans. This is James with PSVita at 2 AM, and once again, I'm coming at you with another exciting video. Well, as you probably could tell from the beginning, my throat's not going to very much hold up to make this video any kind of extra scarier, so I'm just going to have to go as is. But yes, I have a little special treat for you all. Or is it a trick? We'll have to find out. It is now time for us to cover some great spooky games that you can play on your PlayStation Vita this Halloween. Now keep in mind, this isn't a top 5 list or anything like that of the spookiest Vita games out there. These are just some great PlayStation Vita games I think would be great for you to play on Halloween, and thus will be in no particular order. And once the video is over, I would love to hear your recommendations on what you suggest. But without further ado, let's go to the first game. First game on our list is Yamawari Midnight Shadows. This is technically a sequel to the first Yamawari game. I chose the second one because I felt it had a little bit more scares and a tad more to the gameplay compared to the first, although both of them play very similar. The dark is no place to be alone. After a beautiful show of summer fireworks, two young girls begin to make their way home. However, a mysterious attacker separates them, and both must brave the haunted night filled with unspeakable terrors and survive the darkness. Are you guys scared yet? Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. So this game sort of plays like an over-the-top Fatal Frame or Silent Hill, but you don't have any kind of offensive attacks to speak of. So in that regards, it might play a little bit more like the Clock Tower series, if you've ever played that. All you have is your wits and your flashlight, and even if you see ghosts running up upon you, the only option you have available to you is to run and or hide. Kinda like how I do with all my ex-wives. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oops. However, it's not going to be as easy as you think. Your character has a stamina bar. Run too much and you'll run out of breath, making you an easy snack for the spirits at hand. Wait, do spirits even eat? On to number 2. Now here's a game I feel that needs no introduction. Resident Evil Revelations 2 for the PlayStation Vita. Ooh. The beginning of Resident Evil Revelations 2 tale sees fan favorite Claire Redfield make a dramatic return. Survivor of the Raccoon City incident depicted in previous Resident Evil games, Claire now works for the anti-bioterrorism organization TerraSave. Moria Burton is attending her welcome party for TerraSave when unknown armed forces storm the office. Claire and Moria are knocked unconscious and awaken later to find themselves in a dark and abandoned detention facility. Working together, they must find out who took them and to what sinister end. Will Claire and Moria make it out alive and discover what's led them to being taken to this remote island? A story of twists and turns will have players guessing the next step at every turn. Oh yeah, and Barry makes an appearance along with some little girl. But I guess you might not actually care about that because Claire. So yeah, a third-person shooter in the Resident Evil franchise, and I gotta say, I really love the Vita version of this. The game did have a little bit of issue with the frame rate, but depending on your update status, that has been patched out. Or patched in. Whatever. And yeah, what can I say? It's Resident Evil on the PlayStation Vita. How much more awesomer could you get? On to number 3. Got a question for everyone. What happens when you mix death with mark? You get Deathmark. Sounded funnier when I was writing it on paper last night. The Tokyo metropolitan area H City. In this suburban city, a strange rumor has been spreading around recently. Those who possess the mark will die. The mark is unexpectedly engraved into the body as if it was a chewed up birthmark and is said to result in an unknown death. Having lost your memory, you stand before a Western style house said to protect those who possess the mark. As if drawn to something, when the doors to the house open, you're greeted by a beautiful doll who is the lord of the mansion. But what are her true intentions? Find out in this amazing game. I actually added that in part. Kinda got you spooked, didn't I? Dramatic effect. So what can I say about Deathmark? Probably one of my favorite survival horror games on the PlayStation Vita thus far. It's a visual novel style game, and while I know that might be a turnoff to some, you actually do get to do a lot of interacting in this game for a visual novel. I mean, you get a map for crying out loud. That should say everything right there. It includes all of the survival horror tropes too. Jump scares, one of my personal favorites, searching around the areas with your flashlights for puzzles and clues, and boss battles. And it is up to you to discover the mysteries behind the Deathmark. Ooh, actually sounded like Dracula there for a second, but I guess it's appropriate for a video like this. If you haven't had a chance to try this game out, definitely do so. It has all the thrills and chills you'd expect from any survival horror game. It's an adventure not to be missed. Now you guys know me, I'm a huge import fan, so of course I had to sneak at least one of them onto this list. Now I know what you're thinking, oh what is this, some sort of music rhythm game? Really James, you're putting this on the best games to play on Halloween for the PlayStation Vita? Really? Now just hear me out for a bit because this game is much more than you think. Everybody, I introduce to you Idle Deathmatch TV. This game kind of plays like a 2D horror adventure game. You, along with a bunch of idols, are stuck in this mysterious mansion trying out for auditions to see who will be the greatest idol for a group called Project 47, which is led by this mysterious pink anteater dude with a diaper on. Yeah, I never thought I'd ever mutter all those words in the same sentence. However, this being the 10th anniversary of the games, things have changed somewhat. And considering this is on a video talking about the best games to play on Halloween, I suppose you can probably guess what's about to happen. The idols are now competing with one another to see who will make it to the top, and whoever is in last place will be killed. In fact, I gotta say, probably my favorite parts of this game are the actual death scenes, but I wouldn't dare ruin it for you on here. You'll just have to play it and see for yourself. As you explore different floors of the mansion, you'll be able to dig up dirt on your opponent. And the more dirt you dig up, the more you can humiliate them in this sort of odd scandal kind of thing. And unfortunately, you will need to know a little bit of the Japanese language in order to do these events, though thankfully they are skippable. So long as you have enough fans at the end and buy one of these mysterious numbered balls, you'll be able to make it to the next round, so long as you do it in a timely manner. Some people might not like this game because the gameplay is pretty paper thin, but if you're looking for a different kind of horror experience, I think you might want to check this game out. Now last but certainly not least is Corpse Party Blood Drive. I would probably say out of all the games we have talked about today on this video, this one is probably the most traditional survival horror game. You control one of several characters that are from this school who are trying to find this Book of Shadows, which has the ability to transport them to this sort of haunted school which has like a bunch of zombies and like dead people with no faces. Even the cover to this game is really scary. I see dead people. I'm sorry, I just had to make that joke. I mean, it practically wrote itself. And much like Yamawari, you don't exactly get anything offensive-like. Usually if you see an enemy, you have to run or try to hide as best as you can. Luckily, unlike Yamawari, where it's one-hit death, I forgot to mention that earlier actually, this game you do have a life bar. And I have to say, it does have some pretty spooky elements to it too, along with multiple endings. The only one thing I didn't like about this game were the load times. In fact, I'd even go on par of saying that the game's load times are scarier than anything else you'll see in this game. It's not that they are super long, it's just that they are so frequent. Even just opening your menu and inventory system warrants a load screen. So be prepared to see it a lot going through this title. But if you're patient and can get through that, I think you'll find a pretty decent survival horror game on your hands here. Alright everyone, and that pretty much covers all of my personal picks for great games to play on the PlayStation Vita for Halloween this year. Now of course this isn't all the survival horror games, and I'm sure you guys probably have some suggestions of your own. I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. What are some of your picks? Or what did you think of my picks? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time.